bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Sing When You're Winning. Hello and welcome to episode 6. We've been doing this for 6 weeks now of the Sing When You're Winning, a fantasy football league oddity podcast featuring distant cousins of podcast royalty and a very special guest this week who we will reveal very shortly. But if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll probably know who they are right now. Waiting in line for the podcast throne this week are myself, Jamie, we've got Steve, we've got Lee, and it's another quiet one, I think, international break, and Dan has gone off to France, apparently.
The posh one.
Yeah, he's. I imagine what Dan will be sampling in France. I bet it'll be the delights of Bordeaux or something like that, or the Champagne region of France. What do we think?
A little Chateau Neuf du Pape, maybe.
Yes. It'll be something like that. But hopefully we'll have the gang back next week in time for game week 4, which will be quite exciting and something to look forward to. But let's everyone quickly introduce themselves again, name of the team, and just blatant self-promotion. As I'm running the Great North Run this weekend, and I'm desperate for sponsors, each panel member is going to say what's the most random thing they've been sponsored to do. That's the link this week. So we'll start with you, Steve.
Oh, thanks. I don't know if I have been asked to do anything random, really. What, like sit in a bath of beans or something?
Well, or even at school, what was the first thing you were sponsored to do at school? Was there anything exciting there?
I've no idea. That was like 40 years ago.
You don't remember those days.
I've done 10Ks and stuff, but nothing too wacky.
Nothing too wacky. Oh well, fair enough. I can tell this is just going to fall flat. Lee, save us.
Well, my name's Lee Cooper, manager of the Angry Dragons, and I'm pretty much like Steve. There is a photo flying around on Facebook though of me doing a sponsored silence at school when I was probably about 13, something like that. With hair and looking normal. But when Steve mentioned a bath of beans, then an ex-girlfriend of mine was on The Word, if you remember that. They did a section, I would do anything to get on TV. Well, she did that. She sat in a bath full of beans to get on television. Don't know what happened to her after that. Never saw her again, to be honest.
Drowned in a bath of beans.
Yeah, drowned.
I think that's what happened there. Yeah. When I first started work, I got sponsored to see how many Maltesers I could put in my mouth without swallowing them. Me and this other person got a standard box of Maltesers, and we saw how many that we could do. And I think I got 36 in my mouth without swallowing them. So, so if you're bored and you fancy doing something this weekend, buy some Maltesers and see how many you could put in your mouth.
I've seen Katy Perry do that recently on a Lad Bible thing, and she could get a lot of Maltesers in her mouth, like a hell of a lot.
You'd be surprised. I think I raised about 100 quid for children in need or something like that. So it was all good stuff. Anyway, moving swiftly on, let's introduce our special guest. Yes, we don't have a lot of luck with special guests on this podcast. If you've been tuning in, but they're also one of our panel members, so it's a very warm welcome to, according to Wikipedia, Alistair Richard Griffin is an English singer-songwriter and musician. Already an established songwriter, he first became famous as a solo artist through his appearances on the BBC TV show Fame Academy in 2003, where he was mentored by Robin Gibb of the Bee Gees. I watched that show before I went travelling, but I don't remember Robin Gibb being on. So he subsequently had 2 top 20 hit singles and a top 20 album in the UK. So welcome to Alistair Griffin. Hello.
Hello. Nice one. Hello.
Is there anything wrong in that? We can never trust Wikipedia completely.
No, I know that Wikipedia. It's fairly accurate, and there are some dodgy things in there which are yet to be verified. I will just say on the charity funds, I'm running the Great North Run as well on Sunday.
Ah, cool. You'll be faster than me. I went out and did 10 miles today because I've not done any training. And let's just say the final 3 are going to be a challenge. How about you? Have you been? I bet you're fully trained for it.
I was, and then I stopped for various reasons. Mostly being lazy. And then I did 10 miles on Sunday, and yeah, it was very hard. I think I'll get round, but it'll be a battle.
All right. The last 3
Why
miles,
don't you tie your legs together? Why don't you tie legs together and do it together?
Like 3 minutes.
Get sponsorship. There you go.
Let's do that. Are you in the orange zone as well?
Pink?
Got no clue. You're pink.
Pink. I mean, pink. That's the slowest, isn't it?
The pink's the slowest. Yeah. I don't know how I got in the. My
I'm
PB is 1 hour 50, and I think they keep looking at my PB and going, "Yeah, he's fast. We'll put it fast-ish. We'll put him in the orange zone." But that was
that is
fast. Yeah, I won't be doing it that fast this year. Definitely not.
Anyway, is it a half marathon?
Half marathon, yeah. So 13.1 miles. So we've both done 10 mile in the last week. When that 3.1 is going to be the killer on Sunday. But yeah, well, good luck for it anyway. I hope you enjoy the day out. But me and you could be walking in the last couple of miles, possibly.
I will.
Anyway, do you want to tell us a bit more about your team name and how long you've been playing fantasy football?
My team is Griffin Academicals. Not sure. I think that might be an old quiz team now from the speed quizzing in York. And I've been doing it. This is my 3rd season. First season was disastrous. Obviously, didn't really know what I was doing. My goal that season was to avoid coming last. I also didn't realise for most of the season there was even a head-to-head. I was looking at the full 60 people, of which I was bottom. And I've slowly found my way. A few disasters, obviously, along the way. The last season, I played the wild card, not realising I was then stuck with it, and ended up with half the Luton team, which was kind of shot my season to pieces. I also got stuck at the beginning of the season. It's pretty much what I do every year, and this is why Steve feverishly messages me saying, "Please do your team." I got stuck in Runswick Bay with no signal, and about 10 minutes before the deadline, and I put it all into my laptop, and obviously with 10 minutes to go, you've got absolutely no chance because the site was crashed. I ended up with an auto-picked team for the first 2 to 3 months.
Wow. Was it decent though? Was there a few decent ones in there?
Not really. I think I had to scrap it and take a big points hit. And I did pull around in the end, but then I said I fluffed it with the wild card misplaced.
But do you fancy your chances this season?
Well,
I mean, we're going to come on and reveal something in a bit, so I think you're doing quite well. It's fair to say.
Well, I don't fancy my chances. I'm hoping my current run of form is giving hope to the hopeless, as I previously was. And I mean, I've probably put a bit more time into it this time, and been very, very lucky.
Well, you need a bit of luck. We're going to come on and chat in much more detail in a short while. And each member of the panel have got to have a question prepped to ask you as well. So we'll see what they've decided to ask you, Alistair, in a little bit. But now let's have some talking points from game week 3. So I'm going to kick off. It's a bit obvious, but the future of Mr. Ten Hag at Manchester United. He said he's not Harry Potter, apparently, which I thought was a strange comment to come out with. I mean, he spent an absolute fortune. He's not Harry Potter. But what do we think? Do we think before the international breaks ended, he'll be out, or do we think he'll have a bit longer?
I think he'll get a bit longer,
won't they?
Yeah. I mean, they've backed him quite heavily in the transfer window. So, yeah, it's a strange one. But the Harry Potter comment it's just kind of another one of them bonkers statements, isn't it?
But didn't he say they were the best team apart from Man City or something because they'd won the most trophies or something in the last 2 years?
He had some weird rant where he was talking about the former success of the team. Even it was almost like he was banking on the fact that Fergie won the title so many times that people should give them a bit more respect, etc. But yeah, I don't know. I'm surprised he's lasted this long, to be fair. But yeah, I don't think he'll be there at the end of the season. But what do I know?
A few more humiliating defeats should see him gone, I would imagine.
True.
Yeah. They didn't look good. That's the thing. They didn't look good against Liverpool, and that's worrying. If you're playing like the Tottenham match against Leicester, obviously I'm a Tottenham fan, and against Newcastle, we looked like we could score with a decent striker. So hopefully when Solanke comes back, we'll bag a few goals. But it's United they just look a little bit clueless, to be honest with you, and that's worrying. But I know it's early in the season, but it's not his first throw of the dice either. I think he'll be gone before Christmas.
Yeah, possibly. And Alistair, yeah. So did you have any thoughts on this one?
I mean, very similar. But doesn't the vote of confidence from the board usually mean you're about to be sacked?
Yes.
Jim Ratcliffe looked he was up and down the stands on Saturday.
Yeah, he didn't look very happy, did he?
No.
Head in hands. Next question. I know we talk about this every week, but given that we're talking about Fantasy Football League, we can't not talk about Haaland. And can you really afford to be without him this season? I'm going to go to you, Lee, on this one. What's your thinking?
I think my no Haaland policy may have come to an end already. I think I said last week I've got to make 7 changes to kind of get him in and still have some sort of decent team. And going into the international break, I think I'm going to play my wild card to do it. Okay. I've only got 3, so I think I'm playing Andrew Clancy next. So I think because he's just relentless, isn't he? I was hoping with a decent midfield I'd kind of pick up points from there, but it's just if you're scoring hat-tricks week on week, then it's just really, really difficult. Also, just kind of looking at the stats that Steve sends out on a weekly basis, and you look who the captains and the top scorers are, it's either Haaland or Salah. And I had neither. So, I think it's changes are coming.
Well, someone else who doesn't have Haaland is you, Alistair, and you're doing all right. What's your thoughts? Do you think you'll pick him up at some point, or are you happy that you've got enough in your team?
It's such a good feeling to not have him and do fairly well. Obviously. But I think I'm probably going to have to. Well, for me, I would have to take apart my reasonably successful side to incorporate him. But I suspect that's what I'll have to do. I'm going to have to probably the next week I will bow to bringing Haaland in.
Where are you getting your points from, Alistair? Because you like you said, you're doing really, really well. Who else have you got that's scoring for you?
It's Salah, and I've captained Salah every week, and obviously he's produced for the last 2 weeks. I had a nice bounce from old Cole Palmer. I've kind of gone for the consolidation of the midfield instead of just banking everything on Haaland, and it's worked for 3 weeks. Diaz did very well.
Diaz, didn't you?
Got me some points, but yeah. Probably going to have to scrap it and go with Haaland.
No worries. And Steve, you've got Haaland, haven't you? Is that right?
Yeah. And I did have Salah as well. Then I decided he was the one who was going to have to be sacrificed to alter my midfield a little bit, which didn't really work out so well. But yeah, I mean, Alistair got Diaz at the weekend, and in fact, him and Salah got you like 49 points or something in that last game, which is pretty rare, I suppose, isn't it? But they weren't even in the running, were you, for getting up to the top of the table without giving any secrets away?
No, I think every week, and maybe it's just because I had the game destruction when Liverpool have been playing, on the first day I've had about 11 points. I've been absolutely nowhere, and then Salah has turned up with the points.
Good stuff. And the final talking point from getting, there's lots, but the final one we're picking on is the Rice red card costing Arsenal. First of all, do you think it was a red card? And then secondly, do you think even at this early stage that might cost them longer term, not winning?
Not really. Brighton are a good side out of this year. I think they'll take a few points off quite a few decent sides. And I had to watch it a few times to actually realise what he'd got sent off for. Because I thought, is he getting done for simulation or something? And I didn't realise they've now clamped down on this kicking the ball away, even though it was a very slight tap. Yeah. I think I'd have been a bit annoyed if I was an Arsenal fan, but if it's a rule, it's a rule, I suppose. It's one of those new rules they introduce every year, isn't it, where they kind of iron themselves out over the season, and by the end of the season, they probably won't be giving those kind of decisions. But
Yeah, it was just a strange one, wasn't it? But like you say, no, I mean, with 10 men getting a point's not a bad result at all, is it? At the end of the day, but
No,
it was definitely a strange one, in my opinion. But let's move swiftly on to look at the actual leagues then after game week 3. So, Steve, over to you. Who's going into the international break feeling relaxed, and who still needs to get some extra training in across each division?
right. Well, if we start in the Premier League, then the highest score was Adam Devlin, 3-time former champion Adam Devlin. He'd like me to point out if he's listening. I don't. He got a 93, and he beat Leon, who was he was one of our title contenders last year. Leon got a 77, and I think he's feeling a little hard done by because I think Adam played a wild card against him this week, and Michelle triple captain against him last week. So Leon's actually doing quite well, but he's lost his last 2, so he's a bit frustrated by that. Other high scores in that league, Mark Horson got an 82 to beat Faris, who did quite well as well again. And Faris, another one who's one of the top players who always scores really well, but every season Faris seems to have no luck in the head-to-heads, and he's always has a bad start. He'll be in the top half by the end of the season. Champion Mark went top again. He got an 82 to beat Steve Taylor. Rich Archer got an 81 to beat Andrew Chester, and Michelle got an 80 to beat Nikolai, who had the lowest score with a 29, which puts him second from bottom. Championship, which all you 3 are in. Stu got the high score with an 86 to beat Dave Atkins with the second lowest score of 46. Carl, our sponsor, got 86 to beat Nick with 65. She was very frustrated about that, I can tell you.
But she scored higher than a lot in the league. I thought her message in WhatsApp, I thought there'll be people scored less will feel even worse after she said that.
Yeah, no, she doesn't take defeat well. But she was quite happy that I'd lost as well, so it's a lovely household for FPL this week. Jim went top, he got an 84 to beat Henry, who got a 42, which was the lowest score in that division. Alistair, you also got 84, and you beat Tim, which put him bottom. And that was the end of the championship coverage. League One, Rich Pipes got the highest score at 85 to beat Gareth 73. Lee Nicholson went top with an 82 to beat Alex with a 67. The lowest score was Craig Wilson, who got 37, and he was beaten by Magic Ben, who got 49, which was also one of the lowest scores, so he kind of got lucky with that one, really. Into the Conference League, Duke was the highest score with a 92, which was the second highest score overall. He beat Ben Halliwell, who got a 77. George got an 85 to beat Grace in his household derby with her, so well done, George. Elsewhere, high scores, Natalie Pike got an 82 to beat Chris Murray's 69. She goes top. Neil Robertson got his first win of the season. He beat Finn. He got an 82 as well. And Sophie Ridge won again. She got an 81 to beat Rob Lally, who was unlucky with a 77.
There's some very high scores across all the divisions, aren't there?
Yeah, I think some of the divisions, League One, I don't think there's anybody who's particularly brilliant at FPL or hasn't been in the past, so it could be a really even division there. And the Championship all seem pretty tight every week, so I think you could be a win-loser. And that leaves us 3 games in, and the only teams that haven't won a game and have no points so far are Faris Badwan, Tim Ward, Chesney Hawks, Stu Kelly, Craig Wilson, Rob Lally, Finn Dunn, Chris Murray, Becky Bass, and Adam Constive.
Oh, so still quite a few there. That's why Stu's not rocked up this week, isn't it?
I should think so. I think that was the ice cream van just going past. If you could pick up that
music. I thought I could hear something. Yeah. It's quite fancy an ice cream on a Friday morning. It's perfect.
Yeah. A bit earlier.
Oh, good stuff. Very quick then, we're going to most transfers already for game week for, obviously we'll look at this again next week, but most transfers in already is João Pedro, Brighton. 500,000 people have transferred him in. Luis Diaz, not surprisingly, and Haaland in the top three. And most transfers out, Isak is the top one that people are getting rid of. Watkins is in second, and Guardiola as well. People are choosing to get rid of. So there, we'll see next week. And whether, if you're listening in, whether that gives you any top tips to transfer in, transfer out, who knows? But the thing that we want to talk about right now is the Manager of the Month announcement. So each month, do you want to say a little bit around who sponsors this, Steve?
Yeah, the Manager of the Month is sponsored by the Potions Cauldron, which is in the Shambles in York, and it's, I believe it's expanding around the UK. And they basically sponsor us, and you will get a package of Wizard Cola and various Wizard drinks, and I believe there might be some rum in there as well.
Oh, lots of portions then. Sounds good.
Whoever won, that's very lucky.
Very lucky indeed. So who did win this month's Manager of the Month?
The winner of the Manager of the Month for August was Alistair Griffin. It was amazing. 49 points gained on Sunday, which gave him a win.
Excellent.
Well done.
Thank you.
Also, slightly unlucky there was Natalie Pike, who got exactly the same score as Alistair. But Alistair had made one transfer this season. Oh, sorry, she'd made one transfer this season, and Alistair's not made any yet. So
that's what it comes down to, fine margins.
Yeah, I'm afraid so. But there were quite a lot of people there. Ben Halliwell got 245 to their 246. Michelle got 244. Rick got a 242. Duke, his son, got 240. Jim got a 238. So there's a lot of people quite close on Sunday.
Good stuff. So congratulations, Alistair. That leads us nicely into having a bit of a chat with you and asking you some random questions. So thank you for coming on the pod again. And I'm going to start, as I ask everyone, why do you support the football team you do? I mean, obviously, we're the finest team in football the world's ever seen. Sorry. Why Boro?
My family's from Middlesbrough. I was born in Middlesbrough. I've never lived in Middlesbrough. No, we moved out into the North York Moors. And I remember I came into being a football fan, a Middlesbrough fan, at the lowest point when liquidation, bankruptcy, Ayresome Park, the gates locked. And obviously, but that was like an amazing time. The ultimate roller coaster, wasn't it? From extinction, we're back. And then they went 3rd division, 2nd division, 1st division, and then back down to the 2nd division. It was the Mowbray, Slaven, Alistair. It was the team of 86. And that was my sort of baptism of football. I thought football, but that's what it was: promotion and then relegation. And to a certain extent, that has been Middlesbrough's tale.
But yeah, for a while, it sounds like we started following the Boro at a similar time. But Boro never stayed in a division longer than 2 seasons for a long period. Yeah. So you either had that excitement of promotion or the disappointment of relegation, but you never stayed anywhere. It wasn't until we got promoted to the Premier for about 10 years, and we had that kind of consistency. But yeah, exciting times to be a Boro fan back then. I think I started following because they were the underdog. I was in a family full of Sunderland fans, and obviously there's a lot of Newcastle fans where I was, but something about the Boro and the underdog. But yeah, what's been the highest point of following them for you?
I mean, I'd say that time of Bernie Slave and Tony Mowbray, that was definitely special. And I through my strange musical career, my paths crossed with Bernie a few times. I've actually, this sounds ridiculous, but I was part of a Sky Pro Celebrity football thing, and we got to play with Bernie Slaven, Greg Hignett, and Nickelback, and Jim Platt, and it was basically like a rerun of the Premier League, but with all players and idiots like me, and unbelievably, Middlesbrough won.
Ah.
And not only, even more unbelievably, I scored the winning goal in the final.
That's amazing. That's a story.
Congratulations.
When was this on Sky? I don't seem to recall watching this ever.
Was this at Newcastle Arena?
No, it was at the Greenwich, the old Dome. I think it was the Beckham place, Beckham Arena.
Oh, right.
So it was like, so West Ham had like Danny Dyer. I think Paul Tonkinson played for Man U.
Oh, really?
It was James Nesbitt was in it for Man U. And no, it was absolutely crazy. What stuck out for me was we won because we really wanted to win. Our professionals really wanted to win, and we still had Hignett was fit as a fiddle. Jim was brilliant in goal, and Bernie was unbelievably good. His touch and the goals he scored, he was still brilliant. I can't think how old he would be. Getting on a bit. And then, I mean, I've got to talk about the goal. I literally hadn't been across the halfway line for the entire tournament because I was not fit enough. And like Hignett was just saying to me, "Stay back, Mark Steve Claridge." Okay. And it was I think it was 1-1, and it was West Ham. It was literally about 15 seconds left, and I thought, it can't go to penalties. I don't want it to go, but I'll have to take a penalty, and I'll miss, and it will be awful. So I thought, that's it. I'm piling forward. Nickelback has the ball on the halfway line. I think the West Ham defence just got knackered because I just wandered into about 5 yards out. Alan Knight was in goal. West Ham.
Yeah.
Trapped it. Bernie's on the far post, screaming at me to pass the ball to him. And there's a side foot under the advancing keeper. Goal. The clock goes. We won. Unbelievable.
Amazing.
What a memory.
And then Bernie said, "If you would have missed, I would have killed you."
I can imagine Bernie Slavin saying that.
Yeah.
I went to watch one at Newcastle Arena once. A friend of mine was playing for Darlington. It was like the Sky Soccer Sixes.
The Legends. Yeah, the Legends one.
Yeah. And we went there, and I mean, we'd been sort of drinking all day, so we were a bit. By the time it all finished, Darlington got knocked out quite early, but the security wasn't all that great, and we just sort of at the end, I thought Middlesbrough might have won that even.
I remember watching that on the telly. Yeah, Boro did win it.
And they were kind of on the pitch in the Sky cameras, and then they were sort of filming him, and then we a couple of my mates like, "Oh, come on, let's just have a little walk onto the pitch." So we just sort of walked onto the pitch while they were still filming it all, and then we were like, "Well, let's go and look what's around there." Behind one of the goals was like a big black curtain, a screen where everything was going on behind there. So let's have a look, walk around here. So we walked around there, and then all these footballers were hanging around, and all people from Sky and stuff, and just people just chilling out. So this is great. And then we thought, well, it could do with a pee, so we went looking for the toilet somewhere. And then bumped into one of the other mates. He said, "Oh yeah, just go in there. There's some toilets in there." So we went into this changing room, and there was Craig Hignett there sat in his pants, and John Hendry was sat with him having a chat, and I think they were both having a beer or something. So then you had to walk through the changing room, and then the toilets were there. And then as we were walking into the urinals, Niall Quinn just walks around corner absolutely as the day he was born. Didn't even say a word to us. We were just like, all right. Just carried on our business. It was about 10, 15 years ago. So.
Yeah, it was a while ago, that. Yeah. I remember. Good stuff. Right, Alistair. I've asked each panel member to have a question prepared for you. So, Steve, what do you want to ask Alistair this week?
I don't know. I didn't do my homework on this one.
Didn't do your homework. We'll come back to you then. Lee, have you done your homework on this one?
I have. I've done my homework. I've got 2 questions. So,
you've got one of mine.
Question 1: should McDonald's bring the McRib back? Yes or no? And question 2 is, I believe you're playing a night at the movies at York Minster this year. It's a sellout, I believe, so don't go and get tickets. What's the difference between playing in somewhere intimate like that from a sound point of view? Because I always think churches are really echoey. I've been to, in fact, Mark Morris from the Blue Tones was playing the local church recently in Tildesley. They do them quite a lot there, and I always find the sound is completely different. how does that affect you? Does it change the way you are vocally, the way the band is, and all that type of thing?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Minster it's a bit of a challenge actually. There's so much echo. It's almost like a famous 12-second delay reverb from back to front. It sort of bounces back at you. So, but I've done one sort of smaller show in there, I love the reverb. You don't have to press the reverb pedal; it will just do it for you, and you can kind of play with it when you're singing. You can sort of use it. It's a very different from your usual bog standard gig.
What about the McRib? Should the McRib come back?
I've never had one, but yeah, bring him back.
Yes, bring back that's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear.
I've got a question for you, Alistair. How annoyed were you when you wrote a song for Mark Viduka and then he left to go to Newcastle?
This was a difficult time. For people who don't know, I was doing a charity thing at the Boro. They told me loads of the players were going to come. I think Stuart Downing and Catamol turned up. And I was playing Hallelujah a lot of the time, sacrilege to change the words, for Jeff Buckley or Leonard Cohen. But I thought, it's a bit of fun. But Gary Southgate was there, and I changed the lyrics, added the players' names in, put Mark Viduka instead of Hallelujah, and they loved it. And I saw Gareth after, and he was like, get it recorded. Let's play it to him and see what happens. He's a bit of a quirky character. He'll either hate it or love it. And they played it at half time. I think we were playing Reading. Viduka scored 2 goals, and then became a little weird story, like a little snowball, where even in like the Mirror they used it was like Viduka kills the radio star or something like that. And it was the days of MySpace, and I just put it up on my MySpace, and it was like in some chart on MySpace it was like number 1 because all the Boro fans were like, where did you get this? And then people in Australia, because it was the Australian captain, got it, and then Celtic fans and Leeds fans, and it sort of snowballed, and we did it for charity, and then we I think Southgate's charity was Macmillan, and we did the big check on the field. But there was this undercurrent of, is he going to sign his contract? And he ended up. I almost got the blame for him leaving. He went to bloody Newcastle, of all places. So yeah, kind of.
Am I right in thinking you performed that live at the Riverside? Because I seem to recall in my head that I might have had too much to drink. That I was there once when you sang it, and then he left about 2 weeks later. That was my recollection.
They definitely played it. It might have been the Big Check week. I didn't play it live, but they played it, and it was a bit, the football fans, cynics. They weren't. They liked it initially, and then when he didn't sign the contract, they suddenly dropped it quickly.
Yeah. No, I do. I remember it very well. Obviously, too well. It was like you did that, and then he left. It's like that's gratitude. You wrote a song, and he's still gone.
Jamie's blaming you there.
I'm not blaming you. I just think it's rude. I think Viduka was rude, to be fair.
Well, it was funny. I went to the training ground. I was sort of invited up to the training ground to meet him, and he basically they took the mickey. Mark Swartzer was like, "Oh, I love the song." He didn't really. He sort of shook my hand and went, "Thanks." Yakubu, remember him? He was like, why didn't you write a song about me? Where's my song? And I said, well, I couldn't get anything to rhyme with Yakubu. So. But yeah.
Agadoo, would that have worked? Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, no, she thinks that.
I'm clutching. I'm clutching straws out.
It's
Steve,
funny.
you've got a question. So go on. Sorry.
No, it's a weird thing. It's 2007, but people still in Middlesbrough and being up in Scotland, people still ask for the bloody Viduka song.
Excellent. I love it.
When did you do Fame Academy? Al, when did you do it? Was it like early 2000s or something?
Yeah, 2003. I was almost one of the the first the guinea pigs, I think.
Were you on with Lamar?
Lamar was the year before me.
Oh, was he? Oh.
Yeah.
Who was your rival then?
There's a girl called Alex Parks, and this is I have this on the website. Most frequently asked question: what happened to Alex Parks? I don't know. She did one record and then either decided she had enough, or I don't know where she is.
There's a bit of a Daniel Bedingfield controversy, I think, wasn't there, where he basically said vote for Parks. Did you ever give him a dig behind, backstage or anything for that?
No, but it's funny. He was a quirky character, and I could see something sort of bubbling. It was on the day of the final, and there's a lot going on in them shows. You sort of pull from pillar to post, and we both of us had to do a duet with him. They changed my song at the very last minute to sing that ridiculously high note in it. You're not the one. Remember, it was just to sing very, very high falsetto. And then I thought I pulled it off, but then he turned around and said, "Vote for the other person." So he got a lot of backlash for that. I can tell you.
Yeah. He apologised.
I wonder if Alex Parks does FPL. That'd be a good signing, wouldn't it? If we got it.
Come on.
I don't think he'd be amused if that happened.
I'm not finishing second again.
No.
Not this month.
I've got a random question for you. Where's the most random place that you've been in when you've been asked to give an autograph?
Obviously, I'm not a superstar, but people still occasionally. Not random, but I remember me and another lad who was on a talent show called James Fox. He ended up doing Eurovision. It was a couple of weeks after the show, and it's mad. You're basically on Saturday night television for 12 weeks. You get more exposure than Elton John. People know who you are, and it's a weird thing to adjust to. And we were coming down the escalator at like Piccadilly Circus, and we stopped to take a picture with someone, and it turned out to be a hockey team. And then people started, as they do in London, started flocking round to see who we were. Probably half the people didn't have a clue who we were, but it was like a selfie moment that turned. We blocked the escalator, and we're like the security going, "Who the hell are you? Could you off?" But yeah, in the immediate aftermath, mad things happen like that. It's very strange. Less so.
Who were the judges on that thing then?
The judges,
was there like an evil one?
There was. The evil one was a man called Richard Park. He was the former boss of Capital Radio.
Oh yeah, I think I recall him vaguely.
I think he's still famous for Global, isn't he? Yeah.
Yes, I think he's probably still is. He was famous, I think, for sacking Pat Sharp by showing him, walking into the studio and showing him a red card.
Oh.
That was kind of funny. And then obviously it's Robin Gibb. He was the other judge. And actually, fortunately for me, he was very supportive and he was nice. And we worked together a bit afterwards. I did a song with him, wrote with him. I did a tour with him actually in Germany. And that was he was doing all the Bee Gees hits. And I had to get up and sing.
Did you get to sing "Staying Alive" with him?
Sadly, not. We did a duet, which was kind of like a ballad, big sort of Bee Gees style ballad. That was a pretty remarkable thing to do from nowhere for a person from Castleton in North Yorkshire Moors to be on stage with one of the Bee Gees.
Yeah.
Awesome. No, some cracking stories there. Is there anything, I know you've got your Christmas shows coming up in York, I don't know if you want to mention those, but is there anything that you want to plug right now?
Well, yeah, if you're into Christmas, we do fairly unique, a big thing called the Big Christmas Concert. We've done it for the last 5 years. It's in Priory Street. If you're not into Christmas, we've got what we call Ignite Concerts, which is my new venture, doing candlelit shows, and otherwise Steve's promised to come to one, but he hasn't.
Definitely, yeah.
He's saying nothing on that.
Yeah. We're doing something at Harewood House, obviously York Minster, Selby Abbey, it kind of reimagined classics. We're doing a thing of all Beatles stuff with a string quartet. I sing a bit. Yeah, it'd be great to see some of you there.
Excellent.
Good stuff. No, that sounds good. Sounds good indeed. Right, we're asking you lots of questions, but we started this last week. The Sing When You're Winning Super Fan, I've renamed it now. Each week we're going to test our guests' footballing knowledge and see how many questions they can get correct in 90 seconds. So are you up for that? How's your football knowledge?
Probably terrible, but you know.
I mean, Lee and Stu had a go last week, and I think they managed to get 6 right or 5 right between them in 90 seconds. So it's not a high bar, I would say. No disrespect, Lee.
Weren't they against each other, though?
We were against each other, but if I added up how many they got right in that 90 seconds,
so we're not in competition, it's just Alistair then?
No, this is just Alistair. Yeah, each week we'll get one of the fans to do it. So, Steve, can you be the official timer? And Lee, can you add up how many Alistair gets? Yeah. For those who are listening in, Lee has got his hand out. He's ready to count on his fingers.
How long's he getting? A minute?
90 seconds.
All right, okay. Football link there, I get it, yeah.
Yeah, so, there's lots of subtle football links across all of this stuff.
Okay.
Right,
I'll tell you when it's half time.
So, which player has won the most FIFA Women's World Player of the Year awards?
Steph Houghton.
Marta. Steph Houghton's a great player. In what year did the UEFA Cup change its name to the UEFA Europa League?
2005.
Boro in the UEFA Cup final in 06.
Oh, God, yeah.
2009. It was 2009, sorry. In which player was known as the Divine Ponytail or Il Divin Codino? Italian footballer, ponytail.
Baggio.
Yes, well done. Which club has won the most FA Cup titles?
Man United.
Arsenal. Which manager won the UEFA Champions League 3 times in a row with Real Madrid from 2016 to 2018?
Ancelotti.
Zidane. Which country won the first ever FIFA World Cup in 1930?
Uruguay.
Yes. Who scored the fastest hat-trick in Premier League history? Oh, time up. How many did he get?
2.
There were some tricky ones in there, to be fair.
You'd started the question, though, Jamie. Does he get that one?
Oh, yeah, I've started, so I'll finish. That's a good one. Who scored the fastest hat-trick in Premier League history?
The screen hasn't frozen. Haaland.
Well, according to it's Mane, but has Haaland beaten that since then? Since this question was written?
I'm
not sure. Do we give him another point? Anyway, let's give him 3. Let's say it was Haaland. Let's give you 3. We'll see how long you stay on top, Alistair, with future guests coming in.
Difficult questions.
There were some tricky ones. There were some tricky ones in there for sure.
They were, and a little bit elongated as well. So let's cut down the amount of questions, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, we've got 90 seconds. Got to try it. Quick fire. I need a football book essentially, and then I can just whittle through those in the next couple of weeks. So, a quick update on Bletchley Scott FC under 15 boys, the footy team that we sponsor. Their league season starts this weekend. It's the big kickoff this Saturday, 10 a.m. at home to MK Wanderers under 15s. So we can listen out for next week's pod to see how they get on. So come on, Bletchley.
Come on, Bletchley.
Come on, Bletchley. international fixtures. Do we care enough to have a conversation about that, or should we move swiftly on?
No, I don't really care. Who are England even playing? I've no idea.
They're playing Finland in one of the games. I know that much.
All right. Well, I've put my shirt on in honour of it.
You have put your shirt on. I've got a French shirt on for some reason, not because I'm supporting France. It's like the top, but there you go. So should we do one more game of Shooting Stars before we wrap up this week?
Yeah, go on. Ford Capri.
Well, there might be the car question. We're going back to 1987. We had some criticism for being too much in the 80s. If anyone, 1980 rather. Last week we were in the 90s with Tommy Johnson, which was a bit of a random one. Have you ever? But we're back to the kind of classic questions with Watford's Kevin Richardson from 1987. So do people remember Kevin Richardson?
Yes, played for Everton as well.
Yes. Yeah. So, what article of clothing were they not allowed to wear at Watford back in 1987?
Stockings.
Well, who knows?
What
were they not allowed to wear?
Gloves or a snood?
No, I think this is just when they were like walking into the ground or coming away from the ground kind of thing. What were they not allowed to wear?
Jeans?
Yes, jeans. You're better at this quiz than you are at football. I'll give you another point.
Swankers. Swankers. You remember Swankers?
I don't remember Swankers.
It was jeans with loads of zip pockets on.
Is that what they call? Did they not just say that? Did you wear them and someone shouted Swankers as you walked past?
Possibly, yeah.
Is that what
I thought that's Steve's nickname in the secret chat that he doesn't know about.
He used to go, it's Swankers. What are them? It's Swankers.
I've never heard that.
I can't believe nobody remembers those.
Never heard of them.
Right,
can't say it. What would Kevin Richardson do if he could be invisible for a day?
What job would he do?
Just what would he do if you could be invisible for a day? All the things you could do. What would he do?
He would go and move John Barnes's clothes.
He'd follow Everton's Kevin Ratcliffe around and find out where he buys his unbelievable gear. I mean, random stuff.
Probably what Swankers.
I'm interested to know. We haven't sworn this week. Swankers is allowed, isn't it? Because it's not a swear word. We don't have to.
Not a swear word.
Yeah, exactly. What is Kevin Richardson's claim to fame outside football? I'll give you a clue. He scored a break of 15 at snooker against which player?
Steve Davis.
No.
Elton John.
Elton John. No. I mean, he might have played.
John.
Oh, that's an oldie. John Parrott.
Oh.
How many O levels did Kevin Richardson get?
5.
1 PE.
2.
0. None. I mean, when you're a footballer, you don't need to, do you? To be fair. Well, I have 2 more questions. So, has he ever been mistaken for someone else? So, who does he look like allegedly? Go back to 1987. This is
Brian Tilsley.
Yes.
Yes.
Brilliant.
He had that kind of haircut, didn't he?
Yeah, he said Brian Tilsley of Coronation Street, although that was when my hair was longer. So
he had like a blonde with a perm at the back, didn't he? So.
Yeah. I'm genuinely amazed that you got that right. And what was the
point?
Yeah, definite bonus points. What was the first car that he bought, and how much did it cost?
Ford Capri.
1,800
quid.
Ooh, it's a bit pricey back in those days. Way
an
cheaper.
XR2.
No. Do you want to have a go, Alistair?
Early
80s car.
Is it a Ford? Can we have the brand?
It's a Datsun, a black Datsun. I'm just telling you now. How much was it though?
£500.
Half that. 250 quid. He paid for his black Datsun that the lads called the Knight Rider. So there you go. That's the joy of being a footballer back in the 1980s. So I think that's our lot on this week's pod. So thank you very, very much, Alistair. You're going to be back as a panel member, aren't you? And there's a rumor going around that you might actually play us a bit of a jingle as well. Is that something that we could possibly look forward to in the future?
Yes.
I'm putting you on the spot.
So enthusiastic.
I've got get your minster out of the way, and yeah, I'll be in the studio putting something down.
Good stuff. We look forward to it. I like the way that it's got so dark in here that now me and where's Steve as well. We're just literally sat in darkness.
Must be a total eclipse this morning, is it?
Yes, it is. It's a dark Friday morning for everybody. But yes, thanks so much, Alistair, for joining us. You can follow us on Twitter at SWYW_FPL. If you're watching this on YouTube, again, why not leave us a comment? We might discuss it in next week's show, where we'll be joined by another top guest, which will remain a secret until next week. But thanks to Alistair. Good luck with the season. And thank you again to Lee and Steve for joining. We hopefully have more of the gang back next week. But enjoy your footballing week. Keep on singing and keep on winning.